Hey everybody, and happy Sunday. Heather Coleman here with my kombucha. HeatherLColeman.com. Our circle is going to be rescheduled due to some changes in plans, but keep your eyes out. Circles will come back in time when the right alignment happens. And as we've been doing every week, we're just going to dive into this reading. I've got cards here from the Psychic Tarot deck by John Holland, which carries a different energy from a lot of the decks I've been using up until today. We're going to have a card from our Reiki and Divine Healing deck. Now that's going to focus on your energy. And we've also got a card from Money and the Law of Attraction. So if we look at those themes, we've got a tarot deck that, in my opinion, really works well, speaks well to people that are looking to balance their head and their heart. In other words, I feel like this is a great deck for someone who is already good at that, wants to continue blending their logic and their emotions, or maybe you'd like to do a better job of that, right? In other words, if you're looking to be very grounded and practical when you make decisions, but also to honor the voice of your heart. This is what this reading is going to be talking about today. Actually, we're going to dive right into it, and that's the theme with this card. So this first card, I want to grab the cover so you can see this. We have Money and the Law of Attraction by Esther and Jerry Hicks. And I've been working with this deck for quite a long time. It's not just about money. It's about alignment. The title of this card says, I can make a career of living happily ever after. And I feel like many of you have known people that they'll always say they made a lot of sacrifices. They needed to provide an income and this and that. And that's their story. The thing is, though, have you ever met someone that maybe doesn't absolutely love their job, but they have a different mindset? Maybe they don't absolutely love it, but they have a different attitude. Maybe it's not maybe the tasks at that person's job maybe aren't their biggest passion, but they're grateful to have a job that provides well. They still find time to pursue their passions. So that's what this is really talking about. Is I feel like this card is reaching a collective where you may have known people that showed this example that, going to your work is draining, it's miserable. That doesn't have to be you or your story. And I feel like many of you do work, paid work that is your passion. I know in my case, everything I do that I get paid to do is my passion. However, a lot of very happy people I know, their 9-to-5 job may not exactly be that, but they still live an aligned and focused life. And that's what this is talking about. I'm going to read you the message on this. A very good career choice would be to gravitate towards those activities and to embrace those desires that harmonize with your core intentions, which are freedom and growth and joy. Spirit really like to see you write this down. Freedom, growth, and joy. Make a career, it's in quotes, make a career of living a happy life rather than trying to find work that will produce enough income that you can do things with your money that will then make you happy. When feeling happy is of paramount importance to you and what you do for a living makes you happy, you have found the best of all combinations. So prioritize happiness. When you're happy, success tends to flow out of you and then to come back to you. Do you understand? So it's the law of attraction. Again, when you're happy, you're going to attract happy. So focus on doing what makes you happy and the money will come. Sometimes we have to have a little faith in that, right? Let's set this card aside. And I really do feel the rest of these cards are going to pivot around this message in some way. I also drew solar plexus chakra, and this is actually from, interestingly, the Psychic Tarot. This is located here under the chest area, associated with the color yellow. And this really is, in terms of your physical body and your aura, your seat for ambition, self-confidence, focus, and drive. So we've been coming, I think, out of a time, or we're sort of at the ending stages of a time where I think a lot of us have been somewhat unclear about where to set our sights for the next 6 months, 5 years, you name it. And I feel like some of you may still be in that place because the Seven of Cups came up. And at first I was not completely certain whether that was for this reading or not. And I feel like it is. Let me see if I can... That's odd. Oh, here it is. And it's in water because it's the suit of water. I feel like some of you may still be revising your life goals, your 5-year plan, your 10-year plan. If you don't have one, it might be because it's hard to visualize that, but it's still a good idea to do it because when you have an aim, you're more likely to hit a bullseye for what makes you happy than when you don't. That's the key to letting go of results and unattached from results. Go ahead and write up a 10-year plan and don't worry about whether it manifests exactly as you write it. If anyone showed me that, well, it's the founder of my yoga school, Jack Boken of Happy Jack Yoga. He shared his 10-year plan from 10 years ago with us, and it was more detailed than the things I tend to write. So you can do that. I mean, this was a 30-page business plan. You can do that, but it doesn't have to look like that. You could do half a page or a page or two of the things you'd really like to achieve and bring into your life and what you want your life to look like in 10 years. And what's actually fun about it, and we tend to forget this. What's fun about doing something like that is that when it manifests, it's not going to, probably for most of us, it's not going to manifest exactly as we've pictured it, but that's the fun part. It's like a surprise, right? It's like Christmas morning, and you're going to open up the pack and you're going to be like, I asked for this, this, and this, and oh, I got a lot of that, but I also got this. I didn't know I wanted this. I love it. Maybe I didn't get this thing, but what I got was absolutely incredible. Do you see? So that's what Spirit is calling on you to do, is to visualize and to ask yourself, what do I want to call into my life? What opportunities do I want to see coming my way? How much money do I want to be bringing in on a weekly basis? How much do I want to have in my bank account? Yeah, so amazing. Next card is going to be our Two of Wands. I know it looks different in this deck, and that's what's interesting. This author, John Holland, he calls this suit Spirit. And what I feel this author is doing is combining some of the element of ether with fire and creativity, which makes a lot of sense because what we create ultimately comes from source. But for those of you that follow tarot, you'll notice this isn't red, which you'll often see in the suit of Wands, red or orange. It looks different, but the Two of Wands in this deck is the waiting game. So it really kind of piggybacks on what I just said about writing your intentions and your desires, because we are closing out some major cycles right now in the astrology. I'm not even going to try to get detailed as much as some of the really great people that I listen to that know more about this than I do, but we are closing out a lot of cycles. And whenever we're closing out cycles, we are entering new cycles. And that's why it's always a good idea to reflect on what we want in our lives, but it's so important right now to get really comprehensive with that. So don't just think about what you want in terms of your money and your career, but how about your family? How about your home? How about just other things you want to do? What's on your bucket list? Like, have you always wanted to travel? Are there certain things you've never gotten to do? Have you always wanted to go to a Broadway show and you've never gotten to do it? Have you... Oh, I mean, the list could be endless. I can't even think of all the things. Share them with me, whether you're on Facebook or YouTube. Put them in the comments, because when you share your dreams with someone, or a lot of someone's, you are more likely to achieve those. Sometimes we don't do that because we're unsure and we don't want to feel flaky. We don't want to come off as unfocused, but it's the opposite. We need to share our desires and our dreams. Kids do it. They don't hesitate. Kids and teenagers talk all the time about the things they might do in life, want to do in life. So, piggybacking on this message, the card we have here next is Karmic Body Reiki. And I wanted to go into this next because we just had this message about closing out cycles. And so a lot of times when we close out cycles, those are karmic debts that we've paid, or soul contracts, maybe with relationships that were difficult, or places where very difficult things happened for us. And when we're closing out those cycles, we're entering new phases with new challenges, maybe easier challenges. Let's hope. We love that. But Karmic Body Reiki, I'm going to read for you. I mean, just from having worked with this card before, this is specifically requesting the assistance of the Reiki masters on the other side to help clear our karmic body. But I want to get into a little bit more depth with you about what this is calling on us to focus on today. I just have to find it because this guidebook has like different sections. And it might be in the last one, but I found it. Karmic Body Reiki. The karmic body energetically holds the patterns of our previous actions from this and other lifetimes. And I think this is really going to be key, other lifetimes. These patterns energetically influence how we see and relate to the world. When these patterns can be energetically released. So in other words, we're going to use Reiki to free ourselves from patterns that we're done with. In other words, we don't want the same annoying lessons over and over if we've already learned the darn things. Am I right or am I right? It allows us to operate. So when these patterns can be energetically released, it allows us to operate from a true sense of freedom rather than being bound to a pattern of our history from this or some other lifetime. Healing at this level is profound and life-changing. This card is empowered. Every card in this deck is empowered with its own Reiki crystal. It's programmed to send us a specific vibration of Reiki energy called Lotus Reiki. Lotus Reiki, it's designed to work specifically on karmic conditioning. All we need to do, meditate on the image of this card. Isn't it beautiful with all the colors? And it can also help a lot if you say, I ask the Reiki crystal inside this card to send Lotus Reiki to my karmic body. This is going to work for you wherever you are. You don't have to be in the room with me or this card. So I ask the Reiki crystal inside this card to send Lotus Reiki to my karmic body. And a lot of it will happen while you sleep. Like if you make the request now, when you're seeing this video, this will happen for like 3 nights while you're sleeping. And it probably feel like relief, maybe relief of headaches. I feel like some of you have had headaches. I know I have had headaches this last week. Fabulous. Next card is going to be Archangel Michael. We end up with 2 from that deck. Let's call on Archangel Michael for protection and specifically in conjunction with that karmic body Reiki healing. We're going to ask Archangel Michael to use his sword of light to cut any cords to previous situations, old relationships that no longer serve us. So we're going to do both together. Fabulous. And call on Archangel Michael to just to guide you and help you feel safe at this time. Pivoting. So this is going to reach some different people. Spirit economizes messages in these kinds of group readings. And what'll happen is some of these messages are like concentrated heavy for you. Some of them might be a little bit, I don't know how to put it. Everything is for you, but some of it might be more heavily for someone else. It's kind of like when you go to a group reading, right? And so we're pivoting. Some of you are going to resonate more strongly with this, but don't tune out, again, because of this economizing principle. We have the One of Cups or chalices, and again, it's so interesting. It's green in this deck. Usually in this suit, you'll see like any color blue, but no, we've got green. So love begins. For a lot of you, you are meeting a new person. Could be romantic, could be business, friendship, could be some of both for some of you. Most of you, this is going to apply in some way. But if this is sort of more minor, maybe it's a new friend that you don't see all the time, for example. Maybe that's what this means for you, especially if that's the case. Let's say you're not in a romantic relationship and you're certain you're going to die alone around your cats like I am, which I'm not, but I love saying that because, yeah. But, this really is pointing to self-love. Like, when we get busy, we can inadvertently abandon ourselves. So this is a call to double down on the self-love. And that's going to apply whether you're in a relationship or not, whether that's romantic or you've got a lot of friends. Maybe you've recently reconnected with an old friend. You've gotten to be closer than you ever were. You know, for example, we've had that going on for a lot of us. Double down on the self-love. It is not selfish. Self-care is not selfish. We had that message last week. So let's put that card aside and move on to Major Arcana 5, Wisdom. This is sometimes the Unity card, like having a spiritual leader, and we've got this message of you being your own spiritual leader. That's going to be really important. And I want to check out the guidebook because I actually don't use this deck all that often. And so, and again, was one of the reasons I have more than 30 card decks. You know, each author and illustrator is going to put a specific, I guess, their own stamp to a system like tarot. And it's going to speak really strongly to certain people. And again, we've got this message with this of balancing your head and your heart. When the student is ready, the teacher will appear. When the student is ready, the teacher will appear. So what are the questions you've been asking the last 6 to 9 months? Your teacher will appear, whether they're in person or they're online. Your teacher is appearing, either now or in the near future. Your teacher is appearing. This card illustrates that there's a spiritual teacher, but it doesn't have to be about metaphysical stuff. This could be something else, more practical or more esoteric, more intellectual. But this card illustrates there's a teacher who's about to influence you or step into your life to impart his or her wisdom. You're going to know who this person is. And this might be someone who is in a traditional teaching role, like teaching an actual class that you sign up for, or a yoga teacher. But this could just be someone that you know who is really knowledgeable. I'll offer an example that's happening in my life, kind of just how these cards can look. And this might help you to realize, oh, okay, this might be applied to me as well. So like these two cards, I've made a new friend that's quite a bit older, someone that's retired and knows a whole huge ton about homes and renovating and fixing homes. And this person's been teaching me a lot about my own home so I can really get my home things fixed on it, working better, renovating certain things. And that person's also teaching me. So they're a new friend. There's a lot of love there, and but it's in a friendship. It's not a romantic connection, it's a friendship. But the person's also teaching me. So sometimes teachers are just people in your life. They're not, in other words, it could be someone that plays more than one role in your life. And just know this, if you have a friend or a family member or a coworker, I'm not talking about a supervisor necessarily, could be, but a coworker that teaches you, just know that you teach them too. And that's what keeps it balanced out. So don't worry about this message if you're sitting there thinking, maybe it's an imbalance if a friend is also a teacher. That will not be an issue because you will also be teaching them things. And so it's a beautiful balance. You help each other. And our final card today is actually the Three of Pentacles or Earth. And again, I find the colors really interesting. The red, it does make a lot of sense in this suit because red is our root chakra color along with like brown and deep colors. And that really connects to our physical, our practical material. Again, I was just talking about home. The timing of this is really interesting. But again, it's interesting to see this color in the suit of Pentacles or Earth, coins, money, just because we usually see green connected with that, like plants, you know, like life. We usually see red connected with fire. And the reason I'm getting into a lot of this is, again, we talk about this deck being a really good deck for balancing the parts of yourself, right? So in this suit from this deck, we have a lot of, I would say we have a call to put our fire, our creative energy into whatever this is talking about in terms of, this isn't just talking about your practical. Now, when we talk about the traditional meaning of the Three of Earth, it could mean that you're building a strong foundation and you're also getting recognized and appreciated for the skilled work that you do and the ethics and the intention and the love that you pour into what you do and how much you care about the people you work with. If you work directly with people, that you really care that they're getting something valuable from what they're paying you for, what they're seeking you out for. again, we have this message about creativity. I feel that this is going to reach a good number of you that are going to, in the near future or now, you're going to find ways to be more creative with your work, which is good for you because for many of you, stagnancy is your enemy. You need to be challenged. You need to be growing through your work. And this card is your validation that that's going to happen. You might be getting settled into something, which is good. Stability, predictability, routine is good, but you don't want to be in a rut, right? You don't want to be bored. You don't want to feel stuck. That's not going to happen. So this card is your reassurance that that's the case for you, and your call to pat yourself on the back more and let yourself feel good about how good you are at what you do. So I'm just listening to see if we have any closing messages. I do want to encourage all of you to keep following along. When it is truly time for another circle, you will be the first to know. I did postpone the circle we had scheduled. It's just not the time. We're not quite there yet, but we're going to get there. We're going to get there. I want to thank you so much for being here. I really hope that you have received something very valuable from this. If you have, if you're on YouTube, please leave a comment, like, thumbs up, subscribe. It really helps. Also, whether you're on Facebook or YouTube, please share this with someone that you feel could really benefit from this. Chances are you probably know someone that's going through something in here that's exactly what we're talking about, and they may really need something from this video. So thank you so much for being here. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Have a beautiful week, and namaste.